Hey, JMC 6000 here with another car review, and what I have before me is Subaru's smallest crossover, the all-new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Sport. So not just any old Crosstrek, not just a basic Crosstrek, but this is the Crosstrek Sport. Now, you can get this, I believe, in a limited, and you can also get this in the Wilderness. I don't have the Wilderness with me, but this is a Crosstrek Sport, and the reason why I grabbed this Sport because I think the Sport looks the best. And we'll kind of go over the outside real quick, all the features and everything about the Crosstrek, and kind of compare it to what I recently drove a couple videos back, and that was a Hyundai Kona, because this is around the same price. This is a little bit more than a Kona, but I think you're getting a lot more vehicle than you do the Hyundai Kona. So let's begin with the Crosstrek. Again, this is Subaru's all-new design for 2024 on the Crosstrek. They totally changed this car up as far as they updated and everything. You get LED headlights, you get LED turn signals, and an LED daytime running light, which runs across, I believe, right here and down here. You get LED fog lights on the Sport, and also for the Sport, you get these, I don't even know, I guess gold kind of accents, yellow gold accents. What's on the side here, you get functional aero curtains, which is very cool. In this black plastic cladding, you actually get functional curtains on the front. These tires here are 18-inch black on black rims. They are running the Falcon tires, kind of a street tire. There's really nothing off-road about these tires, but they're 225/55 R18, so it's actually very similar size to what's on my Maverick. My Maverick has 60 series. These are 55 series, so not as tall of a sidewall. Again, you got the Sport badge right here in yellow. You got more of that gold yellow accent down here with the Sport. And then coming around the back here, we have full LED running lights and LED brake lights, but it's an incandescent turn signal and incandescent backup lights. And then you can see more of that Sport badge and more of the gold accents out back here. Let's look what we have in the back. And this is what we have in the back. We got some floor mats, some all-weather floor mats. Whatever this thing is, I have no idea. It's kind of jammed in there, but that's all right. And then you do get a spare with a jack. So awesome, Subaru, thank you for that. They also have this nice little cargo cover right there, seat belt and everything. So let's go ahead and close this up. A decent capacity back here. It could be a little bit bigger. But anyway, Crosstrek, again, their smallest SUV. What I'm going to do before we look at the window sticker, I'm going to show you the room in the second row. Sitting behind myself, I'm 6'10". I have decent amount of room. It's kind of like a vinyl in the back here. There's only one pocket, and then we have some charging ports back here, but that's about it. The room is okay. It could be a little bit better, but there is a massive, I'm going to get out and I'm going to show you. There's a massive hump in the center row. Very massive. So it kind of makes it hard unless you're a child to actually sit in the center row. There are no cup holders back here. Oh no, wait a minute. There are cup holders right there. Awesome. So that's the room in the second row there. Let's look at the window sticker, and then I'm going to show you what's underneath the hood. This engine's actually, or this engine, the vehicle is actually built in Lafayette, Indiana, but the engine and transmission are from Japan. Fuel mileage is 26 city, 33 highway for the Crosstrek Sport, and the Crosstrek Sport does come with the 2.5 liter instead of the 2 liter with the CVT. And then you see all the options, or all the standard features. There's only a couple options. A lot of the compass, the mirror compass, the crash bar, or the crossbars and splash guards, all that. You're looking at 31.5 for this guy, and this in this beautiful silver color. Let me show you that 2.5 underneath the hood, and then we'll go into the interior and go through my likes and dislikes. All right, so under here we have Subaru's, wait, that goes right there. We have Subaru's 2.5 liter. This is a direct injection only engine. It is not port injected. It is actually, I believe it's only, oh no, wait a minute. It does have port injection. Oh, you know what it is? I believe it's only port injection. I don't think it's direct injected. This engine is only port injected. It does have dual variable valve timing on both intake and exhaust on either side for for the cams. But other than that, there's nothing really fancy about this engine. I believe this engine is about 182 horsepower. I think it says on the window sticker. Let's look. Oh man, I thought it was going to tell me on the window sticker. I guess not. But from what I understand, the 2.5 is about 182 horsepower, about mid 180 pound-feet of torque. Again, nothing really fancy. The actual engine runs fairly smooth. It's hooked up to the CVT, and then it goes out through all 4 wheels, being this is a standard all-wheel drive vehicle. What I love about Subaru's Flat 4 is their ease of maintenance. We got the oil filter right up here. You add the oil right up front here. Spark plugs are a little bit harder to get to because they're just tucked up down in there. But changing the oil, doing the maintenance on this thing, air filter right here, things are very easy to maintain outside of spark plugs on a Subaru Flat 4. All right, so let's go inside and let's finish up on this interior review. Let me get this started real quick. All right, so here we go in the new Subaru Crosstrek Sport for 2024. We're going to get some heat going in here because it is only 39 degrees outside. I'm going to change where my air is coming out at. There we go. All right. So let me kind of go over a few things here. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto that's coming up right now. And awesome. But anyway, let me go over a few things here in the interior. Now, one of the things I'll say about the Crosstrek, I wanted to say Cross Sport, but it's Crosstrek Sport. One of the things I have to say is that it's kind of a tighter interior. You can tell this is a small SUV, not by the way it drives, but how it feels inside the cabin. I feel the dimensions, and inside here it's very much a tighter interior. And I feel like the Kona's actually feels bigger on the inside than it does in here in the Subaru, where I actually do feel like it's a tighter interior. But let me go over my likes and dislikes. Number one, I have to say, this is my first Subaru on the channel, but I've owned a Subaru before. It was a Subaru Ascent. It was a 2019. And one of the things I want to say, one of my likes about Subarus is that they're very familiar. You go into the vehicle, you may not have been driving Subaru for a couple years, but you go in and everything feels familiar. Where the steering wheel controls are, the gauge, the gauge cluster, even this center touchscreen, everything just feels very familiar. Subaru hasn't changed hardly anything. I mean, they've additioned this touchscreen the past few years, but the way Subaru's been and how they've been doing things hasn't really changed all that much in the past few years. So again, everything seems very familiar. And another like I have about the Crosstrek is I love the outside, the way it looks. I think it's a great looking crossover, much better than the Hyundai Kona. And even with some of the black plastic cladding, actually suits this vehicle well. And I like, I'm not quite sure about the sports gold accents that they have all around, but other than that, the Crosstrek is a good looking vehicle. And finally, what I love about Subaru is the Starlink. What you have the 2 optical cameras right here. The not Starlink. What is it called? Oh, I forget what it's called. Their safety system. It's not Starlink. That is their onboard. This is Subaru Starlink. But, oh man, eyesight. I love Subaru's eyesight systems. Absolutely amazing. And the adaptive cruise works really well. Subaru has since updated their eyesight. It's like a 2.0 or something like that, where you have steering wheel. You can turn on the steering assist, and it actually works very well, better than what I had in my Ascent, which was a 2019. So anyway, those are some of my likes. This interior feels comfortable. It's actually got the cloth that's on the seats, on the door panels. We got some nice, gushy, soft armrest here on the door. In the center, it's really nice and soft. I mean, really nice and gushy soft. The dash is a little bit more of a harder plastic. Actually, this part is actually padded, which I'm surprised. This part here and some of the other plastics are kind of hard on the dash. But other than that, the interior is well put together. Even though with some of the harder plastics, well put together, no squeaks, no rattles. I'm very impressed by the interior. Now let's get to some of my dislikes about the Subaru Crosstrek, the 2024 all new. And I think for value for the money, you cannot beat the Crosstrek. Standard all-wheel drive, standard adaptive cruise control. You can get for 30 or under. You can't beat that. Now, some downsides to the Crosstrek. Number one, I'm not a big fan of this screen. Now, I know what Subaru's trying to do here, but it's hard to tell. But it's almost like you have this face cover here, and then the actual screen that you interact with is below it. Like it's almost like a screen above a screen. I don't know how else to describe it. This is all touch capacitive except for some hard buttons on the side here. That's great, but and it gets washed out very quickly by the sun. So if the sun is shining, especially on the screen, you can't see a blessed thing. It glares very badly. So I'm very disappointed by this screen. I think Subaru needs to step it up a little bit and maybe introduce something a little bit better. But I love wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. It's in this landscape. Is it landscape? I think it's a landscape format. What is landscape? No, landscape is this way. It's in a vertical format, rather. Sorry. It's in a vertical format. But again, the screen could be a little bit better designed. I'm not too crazy about it. Number two, what I don't like, number two dislike that I have with the Subaru Crosstrek, this has a 2.5 and it has to be the powertrain. The powertrain, it feels like when you're driving this, it feels like, unless you're in sport mode and you have sport and intelligent, it feels like when you're driving this intelligent mode that there is a actual pillow on the gas pedal. Like when you press the gas pedal, it feels like nothing is happening. So you got to press it a little bit more and then see the engine rev all the way up to about 3 grand, and it's like you're barely moving. It's like, what is going on here? It feels like there's a pillow underneath the gas pedal. If you put in sport, that actually picks things up just a little bit. It makes it a little bit more responsive. It doesn't feel like you have a pillow underneath your foot on the gas pedal. But I think the powertrain could be a little bit better. The auto start stop is very jarring. When it starts back up, the whole vehicle shakes. So click off the auto start stop when you have one of these. And then finally, my final gripe or final complaint or negative about the Subaru Crosstrek has to be the gauge cluster. Now, Subaru does include a lot of information. You got miles and miles per hour digitally, and you have stuff you can go through in this little tiny screen up here. Tire pressure, auto start stop, some fuel mileage and everything else. I just wish there was more information, and for some reason this gauge cluster, outside of maybe some different font details, is the same thing I remember back when me and my wife had our Subaru Ascent. Subaru hasn't changed anything. And I think Subaru could benefit by going fully digital, or at least going with a bigger digital screen with a little bit more information than what we have here in front of us. But other than that, this is a great car, and for the money, I would actually recommend this over the Hyundai Kona. You can just spend maybe a grand or two more, and you actually get a more substantial vehicle versus the Hyundai Kona. Gas mileage was a highlight. I was doing about 30 miles per gallon on the highway. Can't beat that of a 2.5 liter, and the CVT does a very well job of mitigating how much the engine revs and everything else, and it does a very good job keeping up with traffic, and I have no issues there. This does come with wireless charger, heated seats. We got the electric parking brake. So again, this is very feature filled, but there's some improvements that Subaru needs to do, even though this is an all new vehicle for 2024 for Subaru. We do get some lights up here, but they're incandescent. They're not LED. Come on, Subaru. Get some more LEDs up in here. Nice headliner. I think the headliner's nice, but again, there's some improvements that can be made, even though this is an all new vehicle. But again, this is at a price point as well. I appreciate what Subaru's done, and I'm looking forward to what more. The new Forester's coming out later on this year, so I'm looking forward to reviewing that and seeing what Subaru's doing with the new Forester. All right, you guys be blessed, and stay tuned for the driving portion where I'll let you know as I go up my hill what it's like to drive this all-new Subaru Crosstrek for 2024. Awesome. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the driving portion. All right, JMC 6000 here in the driving portion of the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Sport, equipped with the 2.5 and the Subaru Lineartronic CVT. Now, a couple things as I'm going up my hill here, as I do with most of my vehicles that I've been reviewing. I go up this hill. It's about a, 15-degree incline, just to see how the engine and the transmission respond and perform. Like I may mention, my likes and dislikes. Again, this vehicle, unless you have it in sport mode, if you have an intelligent drive, it feels like you're driving with a pillow underneath the gas pedal. It's pretty bad. So, but if you put it in sport, it actually kind of sharpens everything up and kind of helps to really bring that into perspective as far as how to drive and everything else. Couple things to remark. One of the things I love about Subaru CVTs is there's no delay as far as when it needs to get up and get moving and everything else. It quickly goes to the right ratio. It doesn't delay. It doesn't hesitate. It's very quick to respond. This thing does have paddle shifters, and it goes through 8 virtual ratios if you use the paddle shifters, which actually do work pretty well. It does do faux shifting when you put it in sport mode. Even in intelligent mode, at certain times, it will do faux shifting when you get on the throttle quite a bit. But right now, that's the lane keeping assist kind of chiming on and off. But right now, as I just went up that hill, it did with no drama, no issues, and it performed very, very well. It went up and raised your RPMs where it needed to. It held it there. Now it's dropping back down. Actually, the vehicle performs very well in that way. And I will say the 2.5 is quiet. It's smooth for the most part and responsive to a certain degree when you have it in sport mode, at least. Intelligent mode, it's not very responsive. And a couple things to remark about the ride. The ride is very well mannered and controlled. This vehicle, like any other Subaru I've driven, whether it be the Ascent or this Crosstrek or any other vehicle, or any other Subaru, it feels very well put together, very well built, very substantial on the road. It doesn't feel like like something cheap or chintzy or anything like that. It feels very well substantial, very well put together. So if you want to have a vehicle that's safe, that feels substantial going down the road, even though this is a small crossover, Subaru is your vehicle. And this gets very, very decent gas mileage, even for the bigger 2.5 liter engine. Handling, it's not a Subaru strong trait, but it does decently for handling. It's not like a wallowy mess down the road. But again, very stable, very substantial going down the road. And I really appreciate that about Subaru vehicles. All right, you guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Again, I upload videos every single Wednesday morning, my car reviews and other reviews. And then I do GMC Garage Talk every single Saturday afternoon. All right, you guys be blessed. Have a wonderful day. And we will catch you on the next one. Thank you. Awesome.